It is a brilliant car, but I am much more excited to get into that thing.
But behind you, it sounds like there's an engine fighting with an engine.
I like how it cuts the curves. I like the handling a lot.
Yeah.
Shockingly well made.
I've had some bad roof experiences.
That's so fun.
We've brought in some of the greatest automotive journalists and influencers from around the world here to Miami, and we're here at the most incredible organization, the Concours Club, located in Miami, Florida. This is a members-only private track, and we're going to be testing some of the greatest cars of the next generation. Now, our goal this weekend is to provide you guys with some incredible content, some incredible stories, and most important, conversation and behind the wheel of cars that will or should inspire the next generation of collecting. So I think we can all agree that these two cars here are pretty much the unicorns of the next generation of collecting. The Ford Shelby Cobra concept, you guys know about this car, a one-off from 2005. And here it is, the unicorn, the Murcielago SV manual, believed to be one of 5 that was ever produced by Lamborghini. So it's really important to have these cars here. I think we all agree. But what we're about to do next is we brought our friends together from around the world, and we're gonna put some interesting cars on the track for the first time and talk about our experiences, collectability, investability, and the overall usability of what makes the great next modern classic. We split our 4 cars into a bracket-style format with judging based on the following criteria. 1, excitement, 2, usability, 3, investability, and 4, the viral social media impact. The first round featured the 2 extremes, a 1999 Lamborghini Diablo GTR versus the all-new 2019 Ford GT, fully analog versus fully digital. The round 2 matchup saw legendary tuner turned manufacturer Ruf and their 2017 CTR Anniversary versus one of Maranello's last raw supercars, the iconic Ferrari 458 Speciale. The winners of each round, as determined by a vote, will face off in the final battle to determine what is the ultimate next generation collector car. Our driver lineup consists of Aloisa Ruf, Aaron Weiss, Matt Farah, Zack Klapman, Ed Bolian, and myself.
We'll try and go fast enough that you can get a good feel for the car, good idea of how it turns, how it brakes, everything else.
All right, Diablo GTR. Oh, wow. Delight. Oh, the brakes are nice and tight. They have really good pedal feel. Man, this car is great. Wow. Bellissimo. It's f***ing delightful.
I've never driven a Diablo. Oh, the steering is so light. Comes on cam above 5. Yeah, turbos don't sound like that.
Diablo GTR.
Shockingly well made, very
easy to
tight,
drive.
very easy to drive. A very nice car, and I understand why they're worth so much money. That makes all the sense.
Any day with a gated shifter is a better day.
Different can it be? Oh, but it just bites right in. It feels so good. think is fantastic.
That's why you're passionate about these cars. That sort of ignites passion, excitement.
Is it possible that the ergonomics are worse in this than they are in the Diablo? You know, when I reviewed this car, I'd never had a passenger in it, and my review might have been different if I had. I mean, it pulls nice, right?
It does pull nice. And it sounds like a really fast V6.
Yeah.
It's so amazing how this, you know, granted it's 25 years, but how different it is from the Diablo.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of being a race car or a track car and how easy everything is compared to that. But it just feels like a race car, like a really easy to drive race car.
Yeah. Car drives quite easily.
Super easy. I like how it cuts the curves. I like the handling a lot.
Yeah.
I love how grippy it is.
Yeah, it's
I feel
confidence
it on the
inspiring.
ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very precise.
It's very well built, this car. It's really nice and tight. I do really like that when you put it in track mode and the wing goes up.
Like, I mean,
Actually,
we are
yeah.
co-occupying.
Thank God we like
this-
each other.
That's right.
You know what? It's funny. It's so good in some ways. It reminds me of like a Nissan GTR.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah. But look, I mean, it's a spectacular looking car. It's got a great chassis. It's
Yes.
tough to use as a road car. I watched Smee struggle so hard. They were up to Uber their longest.
Massive thank you to Ruf and Ruf North America for joining us here. It's an honor to have the CTR with us. We have Aloisa Ruf here as well. So this could be a little controversial, but this is going to be a difficult one to decide. I mean,
A lot of input. Yeah, now we're talking. That's a treat. I mean, that's really, really a treat.
Yeah, this is the best steering of the day.
It is the best steering.
And this is the best weight and speed and front tire feel. Absolutely the best. That was just like the littlest bit.
Yeah, it's
The
nice.
littlest bit. This is what you want from driving.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's the car.
This is the car. And this is why Ruf is Ruf.
I understand why they charge so much money for these things. That is a fine quality automobile. I love everything about that.
So I'm about to drive the CTR Anniversary production number 000. This is my baby.
I have been waiting for this moment. Oh my God. And it gets to the apex.
Wow, the wastegate noise is incredible. Oh, that is so cool. It is lovely. The bite is nice. The balance is nice. It'll let you know that it wouldn't mind rotating just a little bit. But realistically, you can grab it. Yes, if it were my only car, and I would not mind it as my only car, I think I'd love it. But if I had to depend on it every day, it would make me love it more and more each day. If I just took it out once a month, I'd go past it in the garage. I gotta say, that is a lot better than my roof did. I like how lively it is. I like how it stood up to the day here. But man, there's a lot of great options out there. But roof, I would say, has very much redeemed itself, even though this is a very different roof than I had.
Wow, oh my God, what a car. This is like the biggest, greatest toy. Bless the Roof family. That is freaking awesome.
Oh my God. Did you get the roof baptism?
I was pleasantly surprised. And that's very rare for me. Wow, that is sick. I want one. That's the problem. And you're here. How crazy is that?
Makes the sound.
Just NA before they put the mute button on them.
And yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, and it's very nice. 7-speed dual clutch, you know, 600 horsepower.
Well, the downshifts are pretty good.
This feels like the right middle ground between the Diablo and the 4GT. The 4GT is just too easy at everything.
Yeah.
And this actually, we have way more room.
Comfortable and usable, but it's still got a very emotional feel to it. You know?
I agree.
It's got a lot of grip.
Fair, going for the slide.
Already, right?
Oh, easy. Beautiful.
You don't need words. It's
Beautiful.
very...
It's an orchestra.
Yeah.
Wow. It's truly a Speciale.
I love how raw everything is. The lack of attempt to make it smooth.
Honestly, I'm really, really, really impressed. I am so impressed by the amount of emotion behind this car.
It has the modernity and the usefulness of the Ford, but it does have that raw feeling and the emotion that the Lambo has.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel that comfortable about the brakes right there. I don't know if it's brake paint.
Ferrari builds in a lot of softness in the front suspension, so it can cause some understeer, and it causes a meaningful dive under braking and a pitch under acceleration. And as it leans through here, honestly, it's not the most confidence-inspiring car. Now, you will watch some great drivers do some amazing things as the car rotates like that, but on Temerian's car that they've got in inventory, that is not how hard I'm gonna push this car today. If I'm just driving it to the grocery store, it makes the grocery store a whole lot of fun, but if I'm driving it to put a grin on my face, I'm not smiling nearly as much as I was when I got out of that GTR.
The car's great, right? It's just so refined and engineered and German. It's really good. It's really good. It's really good.
So I'm a pretty salt-of-the-earth guy. I don't need too much attention, but I have to show you guys something. This is as cool as it gets. Look at the Concours Club. Everybody has their names on waters, and then, even better, we've got towels, cold towels for a hot day. This is incredible. There's nothing like the Concours Club. I had to plug that really quick. I mean, I think already it sounds like the murmuring that we have a unanimous decision, but I'm gonna say Diablo GTR, collectability, social clout, and the excitement is on a whole nother level.
If that wasn't one of the most delightful 3 minutes of my life.
Yeah, concurred. It's far more exciting. It looks way cooler. When people pull in a Ford GT, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous car. But if someone shows up in something like a Diablo, you went, all right, that took a little work. You're a little sweaty, and you committed, and you know it just sounds amazing.
And around here, you need a good excuse to be sweaty. Oh, it's not the heat. It's my Diablo
It's
GTR.
my the Diablo. I think when it comes to usability, of course, the Ford. I must say, I was very impressed by it as well.
Yes.
The handling, the downforce, I was pretty impressed. Shockers and knife, actually.
But I would say I'm GT with R. Yeah, before you get thinking it's just the Ford GT. I think the Diablo is the answer. And to be honest, even as usability, the Ford GT is the most useless car that has ever participated in that class. And there's no room for anything, especially your head. And you've got to share shoulder space, and you can't even bring a toothbrush because it'd melt in the tiny little spot that you can put it in.
If you really want to experience driving, there is absolutely zero question. The mechanical cacophony that car creates when it comes on cam, the vibration moves everywhere, all the things that some modern engineer has decided are on the con list were just misplaced. Those are the pros. Those imperfections are what create the beauty of that car.
How do we score this again? We vote for the car I run? Yes, okay.
More of a German accent to sound like me.
Officially Ferrari versus Ruf, right?
Yeah.
Now, not to commingle and blend, one of my favorite of the modern Ferraris, but we were commenting, I think rightfully so, it does fall perfectly in between the first two cars we drove. It's got like the auditory and wonderful experience of the GTR, but it also has the refinement of the Ford. And I will leave it in that category because best carbon tub car I've driven, a lot of fun. Gonna go home and try and convince my wife to sell the house tonight. Thank you.
Oh, well said.
I think it would have been tougher if it was the Ferrari and the Ford versus the Ford, and then the Ruf versus the Diablo. That would have been tougher. But in effect, where we are is sort of modern paddle shifted, electronically controlled versus highly analog, lightweight, and sort of emotional. And for me, it's not hard to choose the analog one every single time.
Ditto, basically. I mean, try to keep it quick. Like, I thought that the Ferrari would be one of my favorite cars because I haven't driven one of those before, and I went, well, this is the one, right? The 48's the end of NA, blah, blah, blah. But the shifts are so strange, too violent up and down, it upsets the car, which is weird. But the Ruf feels like you could drive it every day, but it also feels very special. And it is one of the most communicative cars I've ever driven.
I actually want to give a lot of positive feedback to the Speciale. When it comes to modern luxury, Ferrari is a luxury brand, has always been a luxury brand, has always been very flamboyant. And I always thought that could be very deceiving, but I was actually so impressed by the handling of the car and by the car, how it behaved, because you still have some visceral feeling while driving it. It's home. It's home. And I'm so glad that you guys all, I mean,
yeah, she's friends with the owner.
No, but it makes me so happy that we all share this enthusiasm and that, you all have to come to Pfaffenhausen now.
Okay. Now I think it might be welcome, but I've had some bad Ruf experiences, and not Ruf's fault, more so the neglect of some of the cars that have left long ago. But I have to say, I'm in the same camp. I definitely.
Your artwork is so good.
Oh God, that's it. But the other thing I'll say is that in both of these cars' cases, I think I could only fall in love with them if I used them daily. If I had a ton of seven-figure cars and I was going through all of them, I'm not sure that every time I took the roof out, it would make me feel as crazy and make the hair stand up on the back of my neck like a GTR or something like that. But if I drove it every single day, it'd be impossible not to fall in love with the car.
That was my biggest problem actually with the 458 Speciale. Was I was super excited. I've never driven one like for a long time or very fast. And I've fallen in love with Challenge Speciale and 430 Scuderias. I think they're fantastic cars. And I was a little disappointed. I thought that was the end of an era, the 458 Speciale, but maybe the Scud is actually the end of the era. And that was one of the reasons that I actually fell in love with the Ruf, was that while it's a modern car, it's a brand new car, it felt like something that had a soul. If I'm gonna take it out on a Sunday morning and just have a blast for 30 minutes and put a smile on my face and go park it, and I would do that with a Ruf. I think it was absolutely magical. So yes, that's my vote. And bless your family. Bless your family.
Why'd you pit Diablo against Ford GT when they're so far apart in age?
It was like, okay, these are the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Cool.
You know, I think we all realized the Ford GT, after driving everything, was the most tame of all the cars. I actually felt
so good
yes.
that it doesn't feel fun.
But it was the perfect car to start the day.
Yes.
It's a good, get oriented around the track, just learn where it's going in the Ford GT.
This is
They're very popular. Look, I think so
it
much
though?
of this comes down to your
Is it
personal
though?
choice and how you would use a car. So majority of the time I spend behind the wheel is commuting to and from work. So for me, having something that makes the day-to-day commute more than just a commute, that makes it a little bit more special, is more important to me. I think the Ruf would make an everyday commute more fun if you had that day, but if you roll around the corner and there's a bunch of traffic, or if the phone rings and you got to take a business call, you can still do that. So for me, for my usage pattern, I'm still Ruf.
I'm not. I like you said, if you're gonna daily drive it, no question. But if I'm gonna, these cars have all become so valuable that I think if I'm gonna have a car that's 7 figures of value, that I want to feel like there's not more room on my face to smile, and that is how I was every minute behind the wheel of that Diablo. And I'd have to buy more water and drink more water, but I would enjoy putting all of it through the Alcantara of that seat.
I'm with Ed, actually. I think the Ruf's greatest strength is also its biggest point against for me, which is, yes, it's super valuable and rare and desirable, but it's also so usable that if I drove it for half an hour, I might start to forget that it's valuable and rare and collectible and special. I have a Countach, and when I drive it, I can't forget that it's the craziest thing on the road. And the fact that here we have the factory built race car that happens to be street legal. I think it's mild mannered enough that you could drive it on the street. You'd be hot, but the car would be okay. People do. You don't want to drive it every day, but that's not what the most intensely desirable collectible cars are for. If I was a billionaire, I would daily the Ruf. I'm not a billionaire, and if I want to reach for the stars for one crazy, crazy ultimate collectible, that Diablo has got to be it.
It is hard to ignore that sound. I will ignore the Diablo sound. I'll go Ruf. But it's very close. And I think, not to repeat, like, it's more usable, all that stuff. But for me, it was hard. We didn't really get to push the Diablo as much as we did the Ruf. I think it was time of day. Everyone's getting comfortable. So I don't know if the Diablo would be as talkative through hands and seat, and like I'd be able to play with those limits. You're shaking your head.
It would not be.
Okay, so that's good. So it's like a straight line, visceral, rock show, blow your face off, and that's very fun. But I think I like so many more parts of driving than just going, oh, it's loud and it's amazing and it's orange, and that might wear off a little bit. But I'm also factoring in collectability and investability. I think more people know about the specialness of Ruf than they do the GTR.
Yes.
You'd have to explain what a GTR is to more people. So Lamborghini in 1996 started this racing. So it aired on Speed Vision at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so they still exist. It still exists. No, it does. It's just different. They're going, oh, right. And they're just fading. Their brain is fading, and they're just replaying The Office in their brain. So I think that the investability, collectability, popularity nudges the Ruf for me.
I love driving the Diablo, and I loved how visceral it was, and I wish I could have pushed it more. I was still getting comfortable with the track and didn't want to get, cocky with the car. I have a lot of respect for the car. Driving the Diablo was, it was a little bit more of a tango, where driving the Ruf car for me was a very smooth salsa dance. It was very the control that you have over the car and the drivability aspect of it.
Now, some of your collectors are just going to keep them and not drive them.
I know. Because for some they're sculptures, and that's great too.
It's a really good looking car.
I mean, you cut me and I bleed Lamborghini. So, you know, the guy that is explaining to everyone about a Diablo GTR has been me for many, many years, and Ed. But I have to say that I'm so impressed with the roof. Having personally owned a Turbo S Cabriolet and other different, you know, Porsches. I love Porsches, and just really just falling in love with the car. I did this. Now that's not an answer yet. You know, if I had an SUV and I just had to own one car to just drive whenever, it'd be the GTR, because it just blows your mind when you drive it, and everything is crazy about it. But if you had to have only one car, potentially for the rest of your life, I would actually say it would probably be the roof, because all around what that car does is it's this perfect balance of usability, practicality, collectability, and it puts a smile on your face, which all of those things normally don't come together. And I think like the goal of a lot of this weekend and the conversations are what is the next generation, and what is the future of car collecting. And I have to say, I look at the roof as, okay, that's the future from a modern manufacturer point of view. The Diablo GTR to me is the future of what's vintage now, and what's cool. I'm gonna say the roof. Say the roof.
Wow. And I think it would have been interesting to not use a race car. Like, all right, what if we brought in an SV? What if we brought a GT or an SE30? Because you get 90% of the insanity and you get 50% more usability. And I mean, I think
so. Is it just straight pipe an SV and call it a day?
No, I wouldn't say that. I agree with
what I have, and I love it.
Talking about a Diablo GT, I would probably be voting for the Diablo GT. You know, we went with the most extreme version today.
The lesson of how all of this is going is the new style of building cars is unappealing.
Oh.
You know, the modern supercar is mostly unappealing.
Yes.
You know, what we actually want is lightweight, good steering, manual gearbox. You know, we still want some usability. We still want some crazy, but they can have all the electronics and stuff. If you look at the views on our videos, the kind of views that do well are cars that meet that criteria. Yeah, so manuals are coming back from the top down.
Yeah.
They can't give away electric hypercars, and Bugatti's naming their new car after a watch and putting gears in the gauge cluster. Well, that's not an accident.
It's the only time trickle down something has worked. But I think you made me think of your comment that roof is like what's going to be collectible eventually that's being made today, because car companies like you and like Built by Legends or something, they can go, what does the whole audience want? They want light, manual transmission, blah, blah, blah. They go, okay, well, we can take that, but we can take the best shocks that are made today, and we can construct it from carbon fiber, whatever we want. And we can basically make everyone's dream. And then in 20, 30 years, everyone's going to go, yeah, that was the new apex of everything.
Yes.
Great. Yeah.
Agreed.
All in all, pretty stellar collection of cars to put together. Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to drive all those. It was a great comparison back to back.
Thanks to the Track Time Concours Club.
It was my pleasure.
And forget the track time. The food and the service might be.
Your experience is enjoying cars.
Like
it needs to be all of it.
So, what a day here at the Concours Club. It is the most surreal experience, and not just driving these cars on the track, but the entire team at the Concours Club. A massive thank you to their entire team, their incredible chef, Brad Kilgore, and the level of hospitality here. This is like being at a 5-star hotel, but for car guys. So it's so incredible. We are standing with something that really blew us away today. I think it blew away everyone. I imagine I'm somebody that lives and dies by the Lamborghini brand, and I think that today it was so cool to see the Diablo GTR just wow so many people and excite so many people. While the Diablo GTR was definitely the most exciting car by far here today, it is still a race car, and it is not the most usable car. I think when talking about the next generation of collecting, people do want usable cars. And I think maybe this final result would have been different if we brought a Diablo GT, or maybe even something a little bit more usable from the Lamborghini brand. This, it embodies everything that's perfect. I mean, it still feels like an analog supercar. It feels like an analog car from the 1990s, but at the same time, it just has all the modern features and technology today. Carbon fiber tub. I mean, it's just so good. It's fast, it's quick, it's usable, it sounds good, it puts a smile on your face. And I think this is why it's sort of the winner today. You know, I think both of these cars, and I still have not really decided, you know, in my heart what really is the winner, but this is the winner today at this moment. But I think this just totally wowed everyone. All the cars were fantastic. You know, Ford GT, incredible car. I felt it way more confident than the 458 Speciale. 458 Speciale, definitely an amazing car. Not as radical as I think anyone expected. The Diablo GTR, the most radical, the most exciting, blew everyone away. And this sort of does everything all in one. So congratulations to the Ruf CTR, the modern CTR, and we have a ton more great content coming. Thank you to all of our friends that joined us from around the country as we talk about all different aspects of the next generation and where the car collecting community is going.